Today is December 8th, 2015. It's 9:47. I'm walking into the El Paso police station for a copy of the arrest warrant for October 27th, 2015, as there is none. So let's see what they have to say. Hi, good morning. Good. Hey, I was arrested on October 27th, 2015, and I checked with the court. There's no arrest warrant ordered. There's a warrant of CNI.
Well,
that's the information.
You wouldn't have a warrant.
There's nothing. I have it recorded.
You have your...
So if I can get a copy of the arrest warrant... An affidavit is not a warrant. That's like a motion for the judge to give one.
There shouldn't be a warrant if you were arrested, though. That's what I'm saying.
I know. That's why I'm pressing to know, because if I can get my wallet out.
What's the location?
The location was on Constitution, and the officer who picked me up injured me, and then the next month he was actually in the paper, David Nelson, as being a bad cop.
So they keep a track.
So I need to get the surveillance. That was October 27th, 2015. I also need to get a copy of that surveillance video. And I need a copy of the warrant. It still hasn't been provided to me, and it's my civil right to have a copy of that.
Well, the warrant, if there is a warrant and that kind of stuff, the court should have that, but we would have the case report.
Yeah, the court doesn't have it. Do you have the copy of the order to have you pick me up from Pueblo? Because this was done from Pueblo.
That you could have.
Yeah, they don't have that either. I've contacted the police department. I've contacted your internal affairs. I've contacted the FBI. Nobody can find this warrant. Your internal affairs will not call me back. I've called them repetitively, and the El Paso internal affairs just refuses to talk to me, especially when they know that David Nelson was involved.
Yeah, but one time, the clause in the police were involved with the sheriff.
Wouldn't have nothing to report. See you later. What's her last name?
O'Rourke, that's O-apostrophe R-O-R-K-E.
R-O-R?
Yep, O-U.
First name?
Michaela, M-I-K-A-E-L-A.
Birthday?
9/12/99.
We don't have anything on her.
Nothing I made. Okay.
So the report's actually because she... Well, what I have under the case number just only says that generated by they were acting on it for a warrant. She was...
So it just says that it's hard to hear you. So it just says...
This basically just says that you're wanted on a warrant, and then that's what they were doing. It doesn't give...
So you don't have the warrant. So you picked me up without a warrant.
I don't have it, but that doesn't mean the officer didn't have it. I don't see it in the report. It's not with the case report.
So it's not on this database record.
Generated by the sheriff's department. The warrant itself, no.
The warrant itself isn't.
So they would have ran it, they would have printed it, they would have had it that way already.
They did not have it that day at all. They said all they got was a 911 call of where it was at and that I had a warrant. And so they came and picked me up. But there is no warrant on record, and I went and checked with the court.
It would have been taken out of the system once they
Right, but for that pickup, for that, there is none.
Right.
There was an affidavit, but it never got approved.
NCIC person.
I'm sorry, see?
You might be able to call our NCIC person and see what the procedure is for after the warrant is taken out. I don't know.
Well, the warrant was never even in.
Well, if they, the way that it's my understanding is that when there is a warrant for somebody in the system, and if it's out of Pueblo and it's extraditable, then if they contact us and say, hey, we have this person in your area and there's a warrant, there's an outside agency assistance done. And so they would print the warrant out. Once that warrant's printed out, then it comes out of the system once it's served.
Right.
So that might be why we can't get it out of the computer anymore, because it's not in there anymore.
Well, isn't it true that you can't pick up unless that warrant is actually on record in a public file? Because that's the arrest procedures that I found for the civil rights. That it has to be publicly on record so anyone can pull it.
It's a servable warrant, and if they ask for our assistance to do that, then they would have the document. I don't have it anymore. I mean, it's not in the system anymore because it's been served.
Well,
so
shouldn't you have it on record?
I imagine the court would have that.
Right, the court doesn't have it. That's why I'm here today.
But that's in Pueblo.
So,
that's not even here, right?
On October 27th, 2015, your Spillman record should show.
Well, we would have a call for service out to that location.
Do you have a call for service then?
As far as the warrant being in there, it's not going to be in there.
So no warrants in there.
Location there.
The exact one, it's at Church on Constitution. I don't have, let me see, I think I might have the address in my book.
That would be very helpful if we do have the address.
It should show on the record. I mean, there was only one arrest.
Mind if we've got so many records, we got to narrow it down.
Records? So I go through here.
And if you pull my name.
Well, I'm looking for the call
Oh, okay.
right now.
And then I'd like to get it's 4125 Constitution.
As far as records.
Is there a church?
Yes, it's at a church.
So, and you can certainly request that call screen as well.
Okay.
So if you want to grab the form, I can get the number for you.
Okay, great.
Request that call screen. It'll show you that we were out there. Okay?
And it'll show the request order from Pueblo?
I don't know if it'll show the request.
This just proves more and more the illegal conduct that happened and the false arrest of me also in a church. I'm putting all of this on in case they pick me up again because this saved my life at CMHIP as they were trying to hold me there for years and years indefinitely. And they said that this was to be holding me indefinitely. And I just happened to have Dr. Wiggett, who was honest and did his research, and the stuff that I did have on YouTube, he investigated, and it saved my life. I got out of CMHIP, and they said that I was delusional and mentally ill and so gravely disabled because I have a doctorate and all my education. They said that it was not real. They were lying so significantly. They said my world travels meant I was mentally ill, that my properties meant I was mentally ill, my family affiliations as well as mine to famous and wealthy people, and that they said that I was delusional about our relations. So thank God that Lucinda Turley made the website on the 5-star resort because it got me out of CMHIP and they were trying to hold me indefinitely, which means forever. And they even told me it. It's on CMHIP's recorders and audio and video that they were aiding the judges in hate crimes on me and were going to hold me for years and years. It's very scary what is happening in America, and they're getting away with it. And they're the ones who are incompetent. They don't even know what an arrest warrant order is. They should be shut down. A charge and information sheet is not an arrest warrant order, and an affidavit for an arrest warrant order is not an arrest warrant order. They didn't even have an extradited pickup for El Paso to even arrest me on October 27, 2015. They just got favors. Luke Wodiuk called 911 and was illegally tracking me by a tracking device on a 911 call, let them know my location, which was in a church, which is federally protected. You have to have a warrant to get in. And they asked favors to pick me up. Now, when does law enforcement take favors by a civilian and go arrest somebody just frivolously and groundlessly? But they did. David Nelson, and he's known for being a very corrupt, bad person, and he loves to beat on black people, especially black people. But he also beat on me, and he hurt the heck out of me. In fact, my neighbor Joel is willing to testify that this guy was a cowboy cop and beat the crap out of me in the kitchen of the church when I was serving the homeless food for the church. And that Joel kept telling him to stop, and stop, you're hurting her, and he refused to stop. He didn't even have a warrant to get in the church. He never even had the church's permission. It's horrific what's happening in Colorado.